Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we at the U.S. Embassy in Zambia are celebrating International Women's Day, which is an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the achievements and contributions of women globally and here in Zambia. Zambia has a long history of strong, empowered women in leadership roles, and it's my honor to join Sheryl Stumbras, the Mission Director for the U.S. Agency for International Development here in Zambia, to talk to several of these women about the work they are doing in partnership with the U.S. government to make a difference in the lives of women and girls across Zambia.
Thank you, David. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. And indeed, both within the U.S. mission and our partner organizations, women hold critical roles. They are leading our development work from its design, implementation, and evaluation on behalf of the American people and for the benefit of Zambians across the nation. In fact, the USG can proudly state that we model women's empowerment in Zambia. At USAID, women lead our health, education, democracy, human rights and governance offices, as well as our financial management, program office, and our executive support offices. And the USG is proud to have numerous talented Zambian women who both work with the US government and work in partnership with us as implementing partners. And today, 3 of those women, all leaders in their respective areas of expertise, are joining us, and it's my pleasure to welcome them. And joining us today is Helen a member of Peace Corps' team, who's the program manager for the Rural Education Development Project. And also Mailai Sakala, a wildlife community scout with USAID's Community Wildlife Protection Project. And finally, Nsamwa Inguluwe, the Provincial Resource Center coordinator in Livingston, working in partnership with USAID's Let's Read project. Helen, I hope you don't mind if we start with you. Could you introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about the work you do with the Rural Education Development Project?
Hey, thank you. I started my career in education 25 years ago. I worked as a high school teacher teaching languages. I did that for 13 years. Then I joined Room to Read, an NGO that made libraries in rural schools in Eastern Province. And 2 years later, I joined the Peace Corps in the capacity of education program manager. So I'm responsible for the general management of the education project at Peace Corps. I also oversee volunteers' work and support their continuous professional development, guide their cultural integration, and also just ensure that they are being safe and secure wherever they serve in Zambia. Yes. Thank you,
Helen. And Mailai, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you're doing?
I work for Millennium Community Wildlife, attached to the Community Wildlife Protection Project being implemented by Game Rangers International.
Thank you for that. Can we also ask Nsamwa now to introduce herself to the audience?
This is Nsamwa Lubamba, a Provincial Resource Center Coordinator for primary schools based in Livingston. I have been a Provincial Resource Center for 6 years now, but before then, I was a District Resource Center Coordinator for another 6 years in Amwala. But I was a class teacher from 2001 to 2009 before I became a DRCC. My role in the ministry is to ensure that I facilitate and coordinate in-service training that helps the teachers to sharpen their skills for improved delivery in class. And currently, I'm collaborating with USAID Let's Read project. Because I'm an in-service provider, I work with them to sharpen the skills of the teachers in the implementation of the primary literacy program, and also in the coaching and mentoring them. I have also worked with Let's Read project in the administering of the week 5, week 10, and 13 assessments in the primary literacy program.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all very much, and welcome again to our discussion today. It's very inspiring to hear about your work on behalf of the people of Zambia and the United States. and we're proud to partner with all three of you and the good work you do. Helen, empowering girls is a priority in the work of every Peace Corps volunteer in Zambia. Can you tell us why this is such a high priority?
Thank you for that question. Experience and research have both shown us that investing in girls' education has got a lot of returns on every society. Yet there are many families and communities that are not paying enough attention to educating their girls. And so we as a Peace Corps see value in working with communities and girls especially in building their skills and capacities so that they have agency to somehow navigate the barriers that prevent them from getting quality education. Yeah, so we see results just came out recently for national exams, and we see, oh, the cutoff point for girls is lower than that of boys. It always happens like that from year to year, girls achieving less than boys do. Not because they are less intelligent, but because of all these barriers that are in their way and prevent them from being at school as frequently as boys are. I'm talking about barriers like responsibilities at home, lack of sanitary facilities at school that see girls miss class every time they are on their periods, all sorts of different types of gender-based violence, lack of role models, teenage pregnancies, lack of information on family planning and HIV as it pertains to young girls. You know, socially they are more susceptible because they are preyed upon by older men, and scientifically because of the way their bodies are made up, they can get HIV/AIDS faster than their boy colleagues can. So all these things come in their way, and they just lack general support from home. And in the classrooms, sometimes the teachers might use, without even realizing it, gender inequitable teaching practices that just make them lose out on the opportunity for acquiring a good education. But research has shown us that if you invest in girls' education, there will be so many returns. They will start their families later. They will be present at school and learning, and later they will contribute to the economy. They will have smaller families, which will be sustainable. And then when this continues to the next generation, the next girl takes her children to a higher level like this. And we do believe that that's how the chain of poverty will be broken. So we focus on girls to prepare them now, give them better lives now, and give them agency so that they build all these skills that are needed for them to contribute to the economy and impact society in a more positive way.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Helen. And also, Mailai, how many women scouts do you work with? And why do you think it's important for women to take up such roles as scouts in society?
It is important to have women participate in wildlife conservation because in the past, it only used men to be working in this sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Mailai. Also, Nsamwa, why are projects like USAID's Let's Read program particularly important to the education of girls in Zambia?
Projects like the one we're doing with Let's Read are very, very important to the girls of Zambia, because Let's Read is helping us to ensure that these girls learn how to read. And you know, in this day and age, for anyone to be emancipated, they must be literate. And if they have to be literate, then they must be able to read, they must be able to write. So the project is supporting us in that direction, and we are appreciating, because so far we are seeing an improvement in the reading levels of our girls. And I'm very pretty sure that once these girls are able to read and write, then they'll be able to excel even in other subjects. And we will see a Zambia that has women that are learned, that are able to look after themselves, and that way we can break the chain of poverty. As people say, education is key to success. I know people have argued that those that are not learned, but they have money, but I think I'm a very good example. I am here because I'm learned. I was able to read and write, and we say thank you to USAID. Let's read, because they are helping us to improve the reading levels of our girls.
Thanks so much. And Helen, can you tell us a little bit about the Girls Leading Our World, or GLOW program?
Yes. So the GLOW program is a series of camp and club activities that girls, volunteers, and counterparts take part in. So it begins with the camp. A GLOW camp is an activity that targets a few girls who have shown leadership in their communities. So they are taken to a camp to join another group of girls and community members and more volunteers. And through a period of maybe 1 week, they take them through a program that builds their leadership, makes them more self-aware, and gives them skills on how they can pursue their education and achieve much. Just all sorts of different soft skills, self-awareness, perseverance, and so on and so forth. They also give them skills like, hard skills like sewing, and I'm talking about actually sewing, and then they learn to sew menstrual hygiene pads. That you saw a lack of menstrual hygiene pads is a barrier to girls' education. So they teach them those things. And then when these girls come back, they truly portray leadership qualities. And another barrier to girls' education I talked about is lack of role models. Now there are these girls who are being role models to others, who can speak up, who can ask questions in class when they are not clear on what the teacher said, who are now avoiding hanging around places where older men will prey upon them, who can negotiate with their parents and ask for less chores, or ask their parents to also ask their brothers to help out at home and things like that. So it works really well in an intense camp setting, fun activities, and then rolled out to more girls over a longer period of time to help them just navigate all these different barriers they face every day that prevent them from making the most of academic education. And then we hope there'll be more women in leadership positions, participating in policy making, negotiating, and being role models to more girls. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Helen. And Mai, can I ask you, what advice do you have for a young woman who's watching today, who's thinking of taking up a career as a wildlife ranger? What advice would you give to those young girls?
Thank you. I will advise the young women girls that it is good to join wildlife conservation, because there is an opportunity for them to be upgraded or to become a director. They still have an opportunity to go for further studies.
And in Nsamwa, based on your leadership journey, beginning as a classroom teacher to becoming a provincial resource center coordinator in your current role, what advice do you have for young women watching today on how to reach positions of leadership in Zambia?
Thank you very much. My advice to the young girls watching out there is that they need to work hard. Hard work pays off. They need to be focused. They need to be determined. They need to be go-getters. There are a lot of things that are happening now that can sway them. You know, sometimes they'll be cheated by young men or older men to say, no, I'll give you money stop school, this and that, but I advise them not to be swayed. They need to be focused. They need to ensure that they are determined, they're hardworking, so that when they complete their school, they will join other colleges or universities. And once they are employed, if they're hardworking, they are passionate about their work, they will rise and reach higher levels than even the one I have now. What has made me reach this far is hard work, passion, being focused, being determined is what has made me reach this far. I was not swayed. So I'm asking them to be focused, to be girls that are assertive and ensure that they get what they want. And at the end of the day, they will rise and be women in leadership that we want to see. They are the future of tomorrow, and they can only be there if they are educated. So that's my advice to them.
Well, thank you very much to all our three panelists today. Thank you for being champions for women and girls here in Zambia and helping groom the leaders of tomorrow as well, as you mentioned. Thank you for sharing your passion, your experiences, serving the women and girls of Zambia. We salute your dedication and your leadership. But I would be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge the other woman leader we have today participating with us. Sheryl, who's our USAID mission director, is one of the leaders in the US Embassy team here in Zambia. Sheryl heads up the US Agency for International Development, which provides more than $400 million of assistance to the people of Zambia. And she supervises a team of more than 100 professional staff, and she has more than 20 years of experience in Southern and East Africa. So Sheryl, it's a great privilege to work with you as part of our team, and thank you for joining us today in this discussion.
David, thank you so much. And I really want to appreciate the fact that you used the word team, because the reality is we are truly a team of Americans and Zambians. We're from multiple US agencies and offices, but we all work together. And we include representatives from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Department of State, and the Peace Corps, as well as USAID. So together we really are a strong team, and we are empowered women, and we are just privileged to serve under your leadership. Thank you, David.
Well, thank you, Sheryl. And it's been such a privilege to discuss the work of so many members of our team today. To our audience, thank you again for joining us for this special conversation on International Women's Day. And please make sure to stay tuned in to the US Embassy's Facebook page for all the additional activities we have planned this month to honor and celebrate women's achievements in Zambia and around the world. All of us, women and men, have very special roles to be champions so that we can work for equality and equal opportunity and empowerment for women and girls in Zambia and around the world. Thanks to all of you for what you do, and let's work together in this enduring fight that we work